surface or groundwater they're going to be taking? Is it a green field? All kind of vegetation study they're going to do. They're going to do wildlife studies. So they need to first do a planning in the pre-field stage of their field work. And then they move to the field work stage. The field work stage is actually carried out by a multidisciplinary team of the EIA consultant. And depending on the nature of the project, the team is constituted. Sometimes it is bizarre when we see an EIA report that has a serious engineering component, and you look at the EIA preparers list and there's no engineer. So you'll be asking yourself, so is it the socioeconomists that did the interpretation of the drawings? Or is it me, chemists, that tried to interpret that determine the number of pipes? So you look at an EIA report and you go straight to the list of EIA preparers and you find environmental management, environmental resources management, PhD soil science. It's still fantastic. But we are talking about sometimes some purely engineering projects, and there is no single engineer. And so sometimes that gives us the idea that this report actually was actually a desktop work, and we know how to find out. So the field study has to be a multidisciplinary team with everyone playing their part. And this is where EIA is different from a lot of other technical reports. We do serious laboratory analysis. Soil samples are taken, and based on the size of the land, we can count the number of samples that are taken. Surface water, if surface water is within the area of influence of that project, must be taken. Groundwater must be taken. And the whole essence of doing this field study is to have a baseline data, so that when anything happens tomorrow, you will have what to compare it with. And because EIA is a legal document, you can be sued for not doing it, and you can actually present EIA documents in the court of law as an evidence. And that is why it is not just a document that 2-3 persons prepared in their bedroom and bring to the regulator. It's a document that must contain actual reflection of that environment. Because when it goes into litigation, some other people that are experts will look into it. That is why we are trying to explain what the process is all about. Because sometimes you will see somebody apply for EIA today, and before the end of this month, the report is ready, and you'll be wondering, how did it happen? When you are supposed to collect 2 seasons samples, and sometimes the regulators can say, okay, don't worry, this project do 1 season. We are in the rainy season now, isn't it? Okay, do rainy season, do just wet season, and augment the data with a secondary data from another approved report that the project is within that environment, because we want to save time and also help you to save costs. But somebody took an EIA, applied for an EIA on 1st of September, and before 25th of September, the report is in the office. You'll be wondering, is it cost? How was it prepared? Where did it, how many samples did it take? At what point did the laboratory analyze the samples, and the report has already, and the report has been compiled? So these are the issues. And so the field work is there, and then when the field work is done, you, of course, will prepare a report. Next slide. Okay, a past study approach. Next slide. Next slide. I'll pass this place over. Okay, one of the major components of a good EIA is stakeholders consultation. Stakeholders consultation. It is expected that stakeholders with respect to the project are clearly identified, and there are actually 2 levels of stakeholders. There are primary stakeholders and there are secondary stakeholders. There are also regulatory stakeholders. Regulatory agencies that have to do with that project should also be consulted. Oftentimes, we'll hear local governments complaining to us that they were never carried along. They never got to know about the project. And so that is usually a challenge. So stakeholders engagement is very important, and the whole reason for stakeholders engagement is that once the people are carried along, we will not be expecting to be seeing petitions. There are times when we get inundated with petitions, to the extent that somebody can even write to you and tell you that it is because of the masks they put behind my house that my children are falling sick every day. So because we know that, in fact, the EIA law provides that there should be stakeholders engagement. You should go to the people, particularly the host community where the project will be located. Let them know what the project is about. Let them know what the likely impacts are, and let them express their fears, and ensure that their fears are captured in the EIA report. Let them make their demands. In fact, the EIA process also requires that you need to also sign an MOU with the community when it comes to CSR. That is how far the law specifies. In fact, the EIA law also insists that when the report is ready, and express its fears. But is that really what is going on? No. So these are things that we want to really address. So stakeholders engagement is very key. And what we look for in the report, we don't want you to just tell us that you engage Mr. A, Mr. B. We want to see pictures of those engagements. We want to see the names of those who attended the meeting, their phone numbers written there, and their attendance register, phone numbers, names, and signatures that they actually attended the meeting. We also want to see minutes of the meeting attached to the report as an appendix. This is very important because when people come and complain to us, we can bring out the report and say, Oga, in fact, you in particular, I saw your face in the report now. So they will know whether you window shop, whether you don't say it's a window shop. What do you call it now? You Photoshop it, or they actually attend the meeting. We have had people like that who come like that and they complain, and we just look at the report and say, sir, chief, it's not you, this look like you. And then he come closer and look and say, hey, but someone got never say here. Whether I want to suffer you or not, this picture is an evidence against you in court. That you actually know about this project. Next slide. And so, we will expect that the EIA report will contain certain critical information. Number one, description of the project. The project must be described to details. And the description must follow, face various stages of the project. We expect that the report will describe the project environment in terms of vegetation, drainage, wildlife, road, everything about that environment, including the socioeconomic factors of that environment. In fact, we demand the EIA law demands that you must also tell us about their livelihood style, the housing nature, their sanitation practices, their source of water, and all the rest. That is how detailed the EIA report is supposed to be. And then, of course, you're supposed to put in place mitigation measures as part of the document, and then develop an environmental management plan. Next slide, please. Of course, we don't need to go through this. Next slide. Now, as I express my gratitude to you, let me quickly tell you how it goes in Lagos State with respect to our process. Once you have your project in mind, you need to write to the ministry a letter of intent that you are developing so project, and we will communicate with you that your project requires EIA or not. And once that is done, we expect that you will submit the terms of reference to the ministry. Upon receipt of the terms of reference, you will be requested to come and register the project with the ministry. And then you facilitate inspection to the site, because we need to see the site. And thereafter, you will be expected to go into the field and carry out the field study. And once the field study is done and the report is submitted to the ministry, you will be requested to facilitate technical review meetings. Technical review meetings are meetings we have that we usually hold to review the EIA reports, and we do invite critical stakeholders, particularly regulatory agencies that has to do with that project, to such review meetings, and then we consider the details of the report. Most times, the reports and the recommendation for approval are not done single-handedly by us. We consider the details of the report as a technical team, and then recommendations are made to the ministry for approval. I'm sure a few agencies here can allude to that fact that for the fire service, we have invited fire service, or even fiscal planning at several times. We have invited even safety commissions, commission themselves into such meetings. And we also invite experts. For engineering projects, we usually invite engineers, particularly structural engineers. And we have had even a fellow of Nigerian Center of Engineers being on our technical panel to review reports for such projects in the past. So basically, that is the process. And once your report is considered adequate enough to be granted an approval, of course, you will get an approval. Now, I know that when the video was being played, we had this idea that the EIA could last from up to 1 year or 1.5 years. We have a process. Once you can do your field study in time and you submit the report, once your draft EIA report is submitted to us, in less than a month, you are likely going to get your approval if it is deserving of approval. On this note, I want to say thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, sir. I have some other organizations to recognize here. There's Enago Building Construction, DOS, and Gadwell. Thank you very much for making our time to be part of this program. Thank you so much. I'd like to inform us that we have a paper on each table that should be scanned. Is our feedback survey. So please go ahead and scan it. Leave your comments. If you have any questions also, you can leave them there. We'll get back to you. Thank you very much. We are now in our question session. Do we have any questions? Okay, before we take our questions, we have the representative of the Director Fire, Lagos State Fire Services here. I'd like to invite Builder Yusuf Kende for her remarks.
Good morning, everybody. Standing on the existing protocol, I just want to welcome every one of us today. I want to appreciate my director, Mrs. Margaret Adesheye, for giving me the opportunity to represent her today. And I want to thank everybody. Okay, I want to talk about fire service. We are doing technical review. I just want to give us a brief explanation about fire, fire safety, the importance of fire safety. The design of building plays a critical role in ensuring the safety of occupants and the general public. Effective building design can help prevent fire, reduce the risk of injury and fatality, and minimize property damage. It can also promote public safety by providing clear escape routes, secure access control, and effective emergency response system. From the fire service perspective, the two essential considerations in building designs are fire safety and public safety. Fire safety measures aim to prevent fire from occurring, detect fire quickly, and provide means of escape and suppression, while public safety consideration, on the other hand, focus on designing buildings that are accessible, secure, and resilient in the face of emergency. Fire safety consideration in building design. Fire resistance. Buildings should be designed to resist the spread of fire using materials and systems that can withstand high temperature. Fire compartmentalization. Buildings should be divided into separate compartments to prevent the spread of fire. I can continue reading, but I don't want to read. I just want to explain to us that, I'm a builder myself, and in construction, whether you are doing estate and high-rise building, as we are building a very beautiful structure, it is important. The safety of the people and property is so important, and we cannot overlook the effect of fire. I'm a pastor, so I want to say praise the Lord. So we cannot overlook it. It is very important for us to put in place measures to prevent occurrence of fire. There are so many people, when they want to build their structures, they will even prepare and make provisions for some of these fire safety gadgets, but they don't know how to use it. The occupant of the building does not know how to use it. So it is important for us. One of the things that I realized, coming for preview when there is an EIA preview and the corners, we see that most of the people does not even, they find it difficult to get approval to go, come to fire service to get approval because they feel it is difficult. They will waste our time. They will not talk to us. But government are not just paying our money to sit in the office. You want to be involved in your construction work. You want to see the safety measures that you have put in place, and we want to see where we can come in, to advise on what equipment to use, where to place them. Like somebody was explaining before that there was an estate, and it happened last year that a family member called me that there is a fire outbreak in one estate around Otodubega, and immediately I called the office. Then they deployed men to go there. They got to the estate and they could not gain entry because the gate was too small. So it is important for you to carry us along. We are not going to fight. Carry us along in what you are doing. The EIA is very important. There are so many big projects that they come to us. People feel that it is only fire certification that you get. No. Before the construction stage, you are supposed to carry us along. We'll check your drawings, tell you the things that you have to put in place. There is something we call provisional approval. When we have checked all your designs and what you have put in place, we will see, and we have told you put this and put that. When you have done that, we'll give you provisional approval that allow you to carry out the project. And then when you now finish doing construction, we will come to your site, check whether you are using the things that we said, the equipment and appliances that we said you should use. And if they are there, once you are done, it will be easy for you to get the fire certification. And in case your occupants are there, you have direct contact. If there is any emergency, they know what to do. Sometimes we'll go for emergency plan. We'll go there to enlighten people. When there is fire, what do you do? So all of these things are important. So I will urge all of us, because sometimes when there is emergency and maybe you have done insurance and you want to claim back your money, they now ask you to come for fire report. If you have not done all the things that you're supposed to have done in the past, it might be difficult. So I'm just encouraging us. The EIA is very, very good. Like when I was watching some of the adverts that they were showing, there was a man that was saying that the EIA helped them to know what are likely problems that could occur. So when you do this report, it will really help you. And I pray that the Lord will help us in Jesus' name. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure that from our speakers, we all know by now that Lagos State is ready to help us if only we carry us along in doing our EIA reports. And of course, it's going to be mutually rewarding for Lagos State government and for the development company as well. Can we appreciate our speakers once again? We'll be taking questions and comments now. If we have any question, can we please raise up our hands to signify? 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. Please, when you come forward, because we have had 3 presenters, you can tell us who the question is directed to, your name and the organization that you represent. Number 1, sir.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Oladile Akindele, a town planner by profession. And by God's grace, the current chairman of the Lagos State chapter of NITP. Now, my question is actually general. While Mr. Adedoyin was presenting his paper, also Dr. Shoginu, they really told us, and correctly too, the importance of EIA. Some of us know this quite all right. But the challenge that people like me do have is the approach by which we implement the provision of the EIA law. In their presentation, they told us that when you want to prepare an EIA, it precedes the development. That is, you have to get your EIA prepared before you ever think of going to site. Only perimeter fencing and the project office is only allowed on the site. Now the question is, if you move out within Lagos metropolis, with so many structures that are marked or that have been served with notices for infraction or not preparing EIA. These are projects that are already in existence. And in most cases, I want to submit that most of this construction, or most of this development, they do not fall under the description of what the EIA says. Now, there is a law in Lagos State, the Urban and Regional Planning Law, and the Urban and Regional Planning and Development Law of 2019, and the subsidiary, the Lagos State Physical Planning regulations also. There, we are told the kind of developments that you need to prepare, PPT, which Mr. Adedoyin referred to the other time. And also in that same law, we were expressly told the kind of development you need to apply and prepare EIA for. And these are major development projects, like they rightly said, refineries, airport, seaport, and all that kind of thing. But presently what we have in the state, it will appear that even when you are developing 5-story building, 6-story building, within a commercial area, for example, a CBD, and yet the ministry will expect an EIA to be prepared for such a development. Now, there is a question mark. In an estate, whether 20 hectares or 50 hectares, the developer is supposed to prepare EIA for that estate as a whole. Okay, quite all right. But within that estate, after that EIA has been prepared and approved, there is a structure that is of 5 floors within that estate. Does the ministry expect another EIA to be developed or to be prepared for that structure again within an estate that an EIA has been prepared and approved? There is need for us to have clarification, on this. And now to zero on my own area of interest. My institute has a project, an ongoing project, within Central Business District, Ikeja. And when the project, going through the law, we, let me say, at least abide by every provision of the law. By getting the physical planning approval, the state certification, and all those things were done. But when we got to the 4th floor or 5th floor, or thereabout, some notices came to the site saying they brought this, and we responded. We got a consultant to help us, intervene. But when we look at the provision of the law, because anything we want to do, the law is number 1. anything we want to do, the law is number one. So the law has to be made known, has to be publicized, and people must be well aware that this and this and this are what they have to do. I want the Minister of Environment to please educate us. Apart from the one that was quoted, that is abatement. Let me what it. Okay. Environmental Management and Protection Law 2017, abatement and nuisance and pre-enforcement and signing notices. You see, there is no doubt that the essence of any EIA is for our own benefit as individuals, as citizens, and the environment that we live in. But then, the template must be clearly stated so that it is not everybody that wants to, go against the law. It's not everybody that wants to feign ignorance of the law. But when the law on which these things are based are not in any way well structured, then it becomes difficult for anyone to really say, we are obeying such a law. So in this, workshop, I would want a clearer classification and a clearer explanation as to the provision of the Lagos State, extant laws when it comes to the preparation of EIA for any project. But like I said, like the two presenters did say during their presentation, this EIA is meant for certain categories of projects which are stated in the law, and the ones that are not stated in the law, like when Dr. Sojimo was talking the other time, you have the mandatory list, you have the ones that are not mandatory, and there are certain. So I wonder, how can an existing structure be asked to prepare an EIA, whereas an EIA is supposed to precede the development of that particular structure? So those are either of the speakers can actually respond to that, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I'd like to request that we keep our questions short and directly to the main point. Thank you. Number two, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Tunjibadejo. I'm the national president of ATOCOM, that is Town Planning Association of Nigeria, Consulting Association of Nigeria, with at least 400 members, and over 50% of them are operating in Lagos. If over 50% are operating in Lagos, maybe I would call them as the major culprits involving in processing planning permit for estates and getting planning permits for development. Having said that, let me go straight to the issues mentioned by Adedoyin. I'm telling you, I sympathize with you and the entire Ministry of Environment, in the sense that you said in Ikeja, I want to pick you up on what you said. In Ikeja, GRA, the trees are gone and things like that is flooding. And you also mentioned of CMS, what happened at CMS. Please, where in Lagos, as Minister of Environment, prepared artificial pond for retention of storm water? And you even said in the last 10 years, you have been doing stormwater management. We have just one place in Lagos that you have prepared artificial ponds to retain stormwater. There is no doubt development will continue to happen, and there must be a retention pond. And that's exactly what is causing most of this flash flood you see. Please, let's take note of that. If you have not done it, let's start preparing for it. It's a major issue that's affecting Lagos. Then, having said that too, I don't want to go to details in what the last speaker just said on individual buildings. For instance, if I want to develop a 10 floors or 5 floors in this area, did I need a EAI? EAI, sorry. Yeah. Did I need it? Because basically, you even said it in your report. The basic of EIA is to biodiversity. Is there any endangered species here in this Ikeja or in Lagos Island? Where in Lagos Island there is one artificial pond that can retain water, storm water. You saw what happened sometimes in Lagos that was embarrassment to Lagos. These are the things you need to look at and prepare for them. It's very, very important. Then, the other important things which we need to know is that, of course, individual building, like you have said, I'm also here to learn. I'm not saying that we know it all. Individual buildings can have negative impact on the environment and things like that, but these must be moderated. Please, let me tell you one thing. Don't let us think that physical development are not food losing. They are food losing. You will lose them to surrounding states like Ogun State. If there are too many demands for, in Lagos now, it takes at least 9 development agencies that monitor physical development. These are too much. Then I want to finally, let me advise you, please, you have about 11 stages. Between these 11 stages of EIA process,